G'day, Aaron Shiner here. Welcome to another video in the Pro Agent series. I'm really excited about today's video because this is part 2 of the 10-day challenge. Have you started implementing the 10-day challenge? I'd love to hear how your results have gone so far. You can call me, you can email me, you can look me up on Facebook. I'd love to see how it's working for you because as we know, watching the video is one thing, taking the actions after the video stops when things gets busy, that's where it's going to really help you close the gap from where you are to where you want to be. Let's get started now. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is chunking your time, okay? So for me, 10 years ago, I used to get an email and I was so excited. I'd be like, yeah, great, someone wants to email me. Right now where we are, if I don't get 80 to 100 emails a day, it's not a typical day. And here's the thing, emails take time. Each email takes time and it takes you out of the zone from doing those important things like making prospecting calls, doing listing presentations. So for me, it's super important. I group my return phone calls and I group my emails 3 times a day, morning, lunch, and in the evening just before I go home. So when I'm making prospecting calls, all I'm doing is making outgoing calls. I'm not taking ingoing calls. Or if I'm going out to listing presentations, I'm not having to worry about my emails. The good news is they only have to wait a couple of hours between, and if anything's really urgent, my PA can handle it. But can I suggest and recommend to you, chunk down the time that you reply to email, you reply to your messages in the morning, lunch, and in the evening. Okay, this next one is super important, and that is this: connect with 20 prospects a day. And I didn't say call 20 prospects a day, okay? I'm saying connect with 20 prospects how you feel comfortable. If you meet a future seller, and now by the way, I don't say potential seller, I say future seller because in your brain, that is everybody's gonna list review, it's just a matter of when, okay? So if you meet a future seller down at the shops, the local shops, while you're getting a coffee or getting a breakfast roll or whatever it is, that is a connection. If you meet somebody while you're walking back to the office and you talk to them about real estate, that is a connection. So my goal in real estate is talk to 20 connections a day, talk to 20 future sellers a day. And I commonly ask this question, I say, honestly, if you made 100 connections a week, Monday to Friday, what would your business look like today? And the typical response to me is, Aaron, I wouldn't be here. I say, what do you mean by that? They say, Aaron, I wouldn't be here because I would have made my money and I would have already retired. And I think the answer is true for the most part because the way that I set up my week, my year, you can't list 200 plus properties a year or 100 plus properties a year by being the best secret agent in town. You've actually got to connect with people, you've got to stay in contact with people, and you've got to build relationships with people. Now that may even mean at an anniversary call, you actually just go over, instead of making an anniversary call, that might mean just on your way to your next appointment, you go over, you knock on the door, and you say, hey, happy anniversary. You might stop in for a glass of water, whatever it is. Building those connections and building those relationships is really going to set you apart from the other agents. The #1 agent in the world a few years back said this: meet 5 people face to face every single day and you will have an abundance of listings and sales. And this was coming from a guy that was writing in excess of $7 or $8 million in gross fees at the time. And I thought, well, if that works for him, that can work for me. So for myself, I adopted a strategy: get in front, face to face, belly to belly, with 3 appointments a day. Now, I'm not talking about pest inspectors, I'm not talking about building inspectors or valuers or any of that stuff. I'm talking about 2 listing appointments a day, and I'm also talking about 1 buyer appointment a day. You're probably thinking, well, how do you get those, 2 listing appointments a day? It's very simple. You do the previous step with those 20 connections. So for me, doing those 3 appointments a day is going to put you in the right place. It's going to constantly keep your pipeline full, and by default, you are going to make some sales if you've got plenty of listings on standby. So guys, 3 appointments a day. I hear a lot of top performers say this: success is lonely. And I also have heard from many people in offices where they say their top salesperson is a little bit of a loner because they understand the value of time. They want to make sure nobody's interrupting that time. So for me, a really good tip is this: get into the office 30 minutes earlier and stay back 30 minutes later. That's 1 extra hour a day. That's Monday to Friday, that's 5 extra hours a week. And over a month, that's 20 extra hours, okay? Now, you don't have to do the maths to figure out what it is over a whole 12 months. And for me, it's typically around 30 extra days of work where, more importantly, it's not just work where there's distraction. typically when you're getting in 30 minutes earlier than everybody else and staying back 30 minutes later, that's mostly the best productive time in the day. There's no distractions, and in those hours when nobody else is, I can get through a lot more work a lot quicker. So we all know the number one complaint with consumers, with real estate agents and our industry in general, is this: the lack of feedback and the lack of communication. So why don't we try this? Communicate with your vendors a minimum of twice a week via phone. Yes, it's great to send out vendor reports on email. Yes, it's great for them to get SMSs about the feedback, but why don't we go back a little bit old school and actually talk to people? People like that, point of communication and that touch point, because here's what I know. On Friday and Saturday nights, your vendors are meeting with their friends at bars and at restaurants, and their friends know that their properties are on the market. The first thing people are asking your seller is simply this: how's it going? How's the sale going? And the seller is only going to respond in one of two ways, and it is simply this: it's great, we've sold, the agent did a fantastic job, or it hasn't sold, haven't heard from the agent, and don't know what's going on, I'm frustrated. So your current sellers are typically your best form of future business if you look after them right. And even if you have no news, you ring them up and you say, hey, just want to shoot you straight, don't have a lot of news, just wanted to check in, but as soon as I've got something of value, I'm gonna let you know, I'll keep you posted, take care. That is as long as the phone call needs to take, but 2 times a week, check in with your sellers, because squashing that lack of feedback, lack of communication is going to help you grow your business. So this brings me to the last point in the 10-day challenge, and it is this: get seriously organized. I had the good fortune to meet with John McGrath a few years back. We went out for breakfast, and before we left, we met at the Edgecliff office, and one thing I noticed, no desks had any paper, no junk, nothing on them. I said, John, how do you keep the desks so clean? How do you get the guys to keep the desks so clean? And I'm waiting for John to tell me about the great culture or the superior management. And he said, Aaron, it's very, very simple. The cleaners are instructed to remove anything from on top of the desks into their bins, whatever's left out. And it made me think, and I went back to my own office and had a really good look at it. And there's paper here, there's stuff there, and it made me think we work better when we're really organized. We work better when we've got a clear mind. So after that day, I've dramatically changed my desk, and I can tell you what, a clear desk, clear mind, good outcomes. So there you have it. That's the end of the 10-day challenge. I really encourage you to watch part 1 and part 2 again, make an implementation plan and get started. The really cool thing is that course notes are directly below this video. So download them now and get started. Also guys, keep an eye out for the next video in the Pro Agent series coming soon. I've really enjoyed making this video for you. Hopefully you've got some real value, some real take-home value that you can implement to take your business from where you are to where you want to be. Until the next video guys, stay tuned. I'll speak to you shortly. Bye for now.